Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh, yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, everybody. Hey, how are you doing? Good morning. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. I'm feeling good this morning. We had a great table talk with Brianna last night on the Iliad. If you didn't see that, I thought that was a fantastic discussion. It really helped me going through the Iliad. We're going to talk about that. We got some things to talk about here today. One of these is going through some of the classics. I think Table Talk is a fantastic outlet for that. Table Talk, I think, is at its best when we're discussing deeper topics. I mean, sometimes it's fun to do some of the real topical things, but we're not. Table Talk isn't a channel where we are always just like, okay, what came on last night? We got to talk about that. Particularly not a show about. I'm still upset that my camera is like really. I'll have to tilt it. I'll figure that out later. I'll figure that out this afternoon. But we're not a show where we just talk about whatever came on last night, especially if we're expecting to hate it. I think we are at a much better, about our best when we're talking about things that are more enduring. Even though sometimes it is fun to talk about the shows that we are at least expecting really to like House of the Dragon, and we're going to talk about Arcane. So the Iliad was last night. Today, Today I have Advanced HeroQuest. So we're going to be talking about Advanced HeroQuest. I've got a few other notes and things I want to go over before we get into this, but we're going to be talking about Advanced HeroQuest today. I do have videos about Advanced HeroQuest on the channel. I made those before I started live streaming. So it's not like Advanced HeroQuest has been covered on the channel before, but we've never had a live stream discussion about it. So this might actually be a multi-part discussion because I want to go into Advanced HeroQuest deep the same way I want to go into Warhammer Quest deep. And then is it Shadows over Brimstone? I always say this, I'd say that wrong. Is it Shadows over Brimstone or Shadows of Brimstone? We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. So this could be the start of a multi-day effort. I'm feeling good. I am really glad that you are here with me. Let's see who all is here. So Zero the Blade is here. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Sable is here. Good morning. Andrew is here. Good morning. We got Michael Connor as well. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So I was trying to make a list of things. I got some notes here. We're gonna make some notes here right now. Hey, let's breathe and sip. Let's breathe and sip first. Okay, Robert's here too. Good morning. Good morning, Robert. So let's go ahead and breathe and sip. I got Cultist coffee right here this morning. So Cultist coffee right here. We're going to breathe and sip. So let's take 2 deep breaths. Deep breaths. 2 deep breaths through the nose. Deep breaths, complete inhales, and then complete exhales. Deep inhales. I always say that wrong. Deep inhales, complete exhales, and then we'll take a sip of our favorite beverage. This is the mental health portion of the show. All right. Oh, Sable Phoenix is just in time. Just in time. All right. So let's breathe. Here we go. And sip. All right. All right. There we go. Okay, so a few things to talk about before we get into start talking about Advanced HeroQuest. Michael Connor is saying I really liked Warhammer Quest. I've read Warhammer Quest. We're going to analyze that one on this show as well, probably after Advanced HeroQuest, because I want to make a specific study of both HeroQuest of that as well. So, let's see. Okay, so first, I have got a link here to this new Kickstarter page that Kickstarter lets you have. Very much overdue. You know, they let you have that pre-launch page, but it was basically just an image. It really didn't let you say anything about what your project was going to be. Finally, I think that Kickstarter is sort of getting its act together by saying, listen, we are being majorly surpassed by some of these other platforms that they should have been on top of years and years ago, because Kickstarter's back-end system was absolutely abysmal. I mean, we're all used to the idea that you have to use a pledge manager in order to use Kickstarter, but that's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. But we're all just kind of used to it because Kickstarter's back-end was completely insufficient for actually letting people know what type of pledges that they wanted, what items you were actually pledging for, And so, of course, there were all these other systems like BackerKit and Pledge Manager, capital P, capital M, Pledge Manager, that sprung up that said, listen, we're going to be your back end. And, of course, that added a bit of a soapbox here, but that could add months to a Kickstarter campaign because you have to get all of the data out of the Kickstarter. You have to get it over to a third party. You have to send everybody to their pledge manager to pick their items. I mean, dumb. There was no excuse. Like we did that with Infinite Black when we were doing Elder Dice. I mean, it was absurd that we would go through a giant Elder Dice campaign and not know at the end of that Kickstarter campaign what dice sets people wanted, because Kickstarter just was not set up to be able to let people pick the dice sets that they want when they pledge the dice. I mean, that was absurd. So we had to add months to the campaign because you had to get all the data out of Kickstarter, add it to a third-party platform, test the system, all of that, then get everybody back through a pledge manager. Hey, everybody, Thank you for pledging. Now, everybody, please come and say what kind. That was absurd. But we've existed in that kind of situation for years, and of course, now those systems have become not only the back end, but they are now also so like, hey, for all the back end, why don't we also just make the front end? The front end's the kind of easy part, and then we have these people who are full crowdfunding sites. Finally, uh, Kickstarter started to do some other things because it sure would be nice to have kind of a one-stop shop. So Kickstarter finally lets you put up a pre-launch page. Well, it lets you put up a dinky little pre-launch page with an image. That was a few years ago, but that was just so stupid. That was a major part of Indiegogo. Now, there's a lot I like about Indiegogo. I've put a couple of things on Indiegogo as far as its back end goes and things like that, and just understanding the way Indiegogo works. I wish Indiegogo were more popular in the tabletop game area because I found Indiegogo's system to be superior. And actually, one of the things that I really liked was having a pre-launch page on Indiegogo. They did that right. But generally speaking, in the tabletop gaming world, if you are to say, "Hey, my game's on Indiegogo," people are going to wonder what's wrong with it and why isn't it on Kickstarter. So, at any rate, they do allow me to put up a more extensive pre-launch page. This just like last week or something, I got this email. So was this Monday? So Monday, I spent some time here putting up a pre-launch page. Let me give you the link. Where's the link? Right over here. Let me copy link, drop this in here. So this is the Kickstarter page where you can hit notify me. Please hit notify me on the Kickstarter page. If you have not done so already, there you go. I'm putting that link in there. And then right there, now you click here. You should be able to click here. Okay. So I'm making notes about things I need to change right here. So make the giveaway link clickable. So that rather than giving I've got several things to go through and test. Okay, so that's one of them. So at the moment, this image is not clickable. I just got this up. But now I can give out the Kickstarter page, and then you're going to be able to click over to the $500 Elder Dice giveaway. That's right there. What this is, what the Cultist RPG is that we're doing. I'm going to go all printable miniatures. Now, one thing I've got to do still on the list is to send these miniatures. I want to send them over to somebody who I know who can make sure that they are really clean as far as 3D printing goes. But for day one backers, I'm going to give away the Rob High Priest of Dagon in battle pose. So if you come in and back on day one, you're going to get the STL, so you're going to be able to print those. I'm going to make sure that they're I'm going to send them to get cleaned up one more time, all the miniatures, because I have miniatures for all of the Cultists' main characters. And we're going to have them as printable files. One of the final things I've got to do is I'm going to see if I can find a printer for us so that if you don't have a printer, I don't operate a printer right now. It's going to happen. But have on the page that you can get these printed if you would like to. The playtest and beta access of the rules. I'm still going to create a how to play in 5 minutes video, and I'm going to put that in here. We've got what is the Cultists. I embedded the Cultist trailer in here. And then I have all of the different shirts, which are the Cultist coffee shirts. The Cultist coffee, I love that one. Witch's Brew, Hail the Black Goat to the Woods, and Thank You Mama Shub. And then you can't summon Cthulhu with sour cream and onion. So all of that is here. So I really like having this page. Kickstarter is finally giving you something where you can actually show somebody something about what your project is rather than just a picture. So that's great. So I am now saying that I am going to be, so we're now 45. We're going to be counting it down. 45 days to launch. I was going to go promotion for 30 days, but I'm going to go 45 days now. So 45 days to launch the Cultists, and then we'll be on Kickstarter for about 21 days after that. But I also last Sunday and Monday, I finished the Kickstarter video. I'm going to put a version of that trailer up on the Cultists YouTube channel. I've got a video about creating this RPG that's going to go up on this channel. I'm going to put that out today. I'm going to go down for, so it's going to be a 45-day countdown. So we need to go ahead and do this. So starting today, 45, well, it might not be exactly 45 days for today because I'm not sure what day of the week that lands on, but basically 45 days, and then we will launch this. So that's what's going on that side of things. And I'm very excited about that. Thank you, BGD. Please do hit the like button. Sable says, I can't believe that Kickstarter became so successful with such a self-inflicted wound. In the early days, it didn't matter if you're just coming in. Sable's talking about the fact that it has no like back end management and all of that, or the front end, the beginning of the campaign management for a long time. But early on in the earliest days, it didn't matter. It wasn't that. I mean, they do have the survey system. They have the very, very limited survey system, and if your campaign is simple enough that the survey system works, even though that's still dumb. Like if you get a T-shirt off Kickstarter, when you get the T-shirt off Kickstarter, you should go ahead and tell the person what size the shirt should be. It's still dumb that you would have to send out a survey. Hey, I saw that you got a shirt on my Kickstarter. Please fill out this survey to let me know what size the shirt should be. No, I should know what size shirt you got by the end of the campaign. But assuming that it was still simple enough that it didn't really matter. But once, especially in the tabletop area, these campaigns started to become more complex, it just did not even, they did not keep up. But I think what happened was by then they were the market leader, that so many people knew Kickstarter and that you needed to have the campaign on Kickstarter that I just don't think they cared. I just really don't think they cared for a long time. And also, I'm not sure, and this is somebody else who is a developer, so I'm not a developer, but he was saying, like, the way that I see this being done, he was like, I think there are, he says that I don't think they have in-house developers. I think that's one thing. So it wasn't like that they had in-house. So now this could be wrong, but he's like, the way I see this, I'm not sure that Kickstarter has in-house developers who are constantly working to improve the product, the website, what Kickstarter is. That it could be that they only that they go and contract out, to a development agency. So that's why they didn't constantly improve. That could be. I don't know. That's just somebody else who's a developer looking at the way they were operating. And he's like, I don't think they have in-house. So I don't know. So Andrew says Indiegogo doesn't require the project to fund, so I stayed away. So that Indiegogo has both, which, yeah, okay, we could talk about the strategies on that. Because obviously, if you need a certain amount in order to fund, like make molds and fund a minimum production run, you've got a problem. With the cultists here, I'm not doing anything that's going to require overseas manufacturing. Hello. Greetings, all watching over in France. So Andrew says, I know there are specialized funding for certain products now, like Zoop for comics. Oh, I didn't know that, but that doesn't make sense that it might have it. So Zoop for comics, but some Kickstarter creators I follow have built a good history. Okay, so that's what's going on. I'm going to start releasing videos. I've got to, I'm going through all the pages, like make sure that link works and things like that. But basically, that's what's happening on that side of things. I'm excited about that. So in approximately 45 days, depending on what actual day of the week, I probably will launch on a day when I do the morning grind. I would expect. We'll see. So roughly 45 days, we will get going on that. I was going to sit here and right, you can do both. You can do both. But he's right. Andrew's right. They don't require the project to fund. So because you can do a fixed goal, you can do it both ways on Indiegogo. But you can't on Kickstarter. Okay. I was going to talk about some of the things that we want to look at on Table Talk, but I think I will skip that because we've already been going for about 20 minutes here. Move on to Advanced HeroQuest. But as far as rules study goes, so I think we're passing now into the situation where I'm trying to, both on the story writing side of things, look at some very specific stuff for that I need to look at as far as story goes, which the Iliad was one of them. The Odyssey is coming up, Paradise Lost, Genesis, Exodus, those kinds of things. So deliberately trying to do some things that are not only classics, but that I'm specifically trying to study for the stories that are coming up. So likewise on this side, while working on the Faded Edge system, there are some things that I want to look at, and I want to take some extensive notes here. Like I said, you can see a kind of basic overview of Advanced HeroQuest on this channel. That is not a live stream. But I want to take a look at this because basically what I was just deciding here was that, well, I really like the Warhammer Quest. Let me go ahead and pull this up so when people come in, they can see that we got Warhammer or Advanced HeroQuest here. Let me get the auxiliary camera going. There we go. Got it right here. Kind of following a Warhammer Quest model, we need a tabletop adventure system. And then we can layer on RPG elements over that. I noticed that this game also has solo play. So it includes rules for solo play. So that's important. I would like to do that as well. But there are 3 games that I really want to do kind of an extensive study on. Advanced HeroQuest, Warhammer Quest, and then Shadows of or Over Brimstone, whichever one that was. We're going to do an extensive study of those for maybe the next several morning grinds. Take lots of notes here for the purposes of game development. I've never gotten to play this. I've come close to getting to play this twice. Tried to bring it out and say, hey, look, Advanced HeroQuest, let's try this. But that I've got it out to the table. It has gotten onto the table. People were looking at it and they were like, oh, let's try something else. Because this one is much more complicated than HeroQuest. HeroQuest gets on the table and played a lot. I think absolutely because of its simplicity. That's one of its reasons. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is that it is also simple enough that like a lot of people in the family, because it was definitely a family game for me, would be willing to sit down and play because it wasn't all that complicated. Advanced HeroQuest is definitely more complicated. Let me turn this box over. Also, I think it's funny here that you turn this over, and this box has the most text. Oh, let me get the other light on too. Get some additional light situation. There we go. There is a lot of little text on the back. Somebody actually texted me. Was like, "What's on the back of HeroQuest? Advanced HeroQuest?" Well, a lot of text on the back. So it does say. Okay, let's see. What does it say? It says, "Advanced HeroQuest contains 36 finely detailed plastic Citadel miniatures, over 40 full-color interlocking room and corridor sections, 6 plastic doors, over 5 dozen counters, and a fully illustrated rule book." That isn't easy to read right there. Hey, Brent, good to see you. Advanced HeroQuest is a complete role-playing system for use with Citadel miniatures. Advanced HeroQuest is the gateway to a whole new world of adventure where you will role-play as mighty heroes, developing your character's strengths and abilities from game to game. Advanced HeroQuest includes a full campaign system that allows your characters to improve between adventures. With the treasure they find, they can buy better equipment or hire henchmen to make the party stronger. What's more, the entire fantasy range of Citadel miniatures can be used with Advanced HeroQuest to add another level of richness to your adventures. The rules contain special monster matrix system that allows you to create unique tables for choosing the hero's opponents, and each table can include any or all of the models from your collection. Advanced HeroQuest contains rules for using components from Milton Bradley's HeroQuest game for transferring your HeroQuest characters to Advanced HeroQuest to continue their adventures. Advanced HeroQuest can also be played solo with special rules for solo dungeon layouts and monster tactics. I think that is a great. I think that's a great addition. I would like to be able to play what we create here solo, as well as digitally. So it'd be really nice to be able to sit down and play both solo and digitally and be able to experience whatever like story or something is being told through the game. But then, yeah, like look at this. Look at all of this text, like over here on the back of this box here. It says the old world is a dangerous place, swarming with thieves and brigands, and it's in a state of constant war. And it's like it's not very high contrast either. It's not easy. Oh, right. So yes, so Sable says, actually, okay, so 80, hey 82, it's great to see you. Good morning. 82 says, as an avid collector of the re-release, I have no interest in Advanced Hero Quest. Oh, no interest in Advanced Hero Quest. Well, I am also, as you can tell, an avid fan of the original Hero Quest, and I'll tell you, I actually think that Warhammer Quest does it better. I've read both. I've never gotten to play either one, but I've read both. Warhammer Quest, if you compare these two, I think does a better job with this type of system. A lot of people really like Warhammer Quest. And for some reason, I skipped that. I was unaware of it. And I played Warhammer Fantasy, the Fantasy Battles, quite a lot. But I guess we just played so much Hero Quest that there was no reason for another type of game to come in. But this one is, there's a lot in this one. There is a lot in this one. Warhammer Quest kind of pares it down. And I think in a better way. So Sable says, so this is tied to Games Workshop. Yes. So the Hero Quest was a collaboration between Games Workshop, Citadel Miniatures, and Milton Bradley, right? So that was both. That was both of those. Advanced Hero Quest is just on the Games Workshop side. You can see right there, Games Workshop. So Advanced Hero Quest is just on the Games Workshop side. And then I guess they decided to break entirely with the Hero Quest name and make a new game, which, like I said, I believe is superior as far as its rule system goes, to become Warhammer Quest, which was much beloved. Michael says the Warhammer Quest, Warhammer Fantasy Quest was just a rebranding of Advanced Hero Quest. At least that's how it sounds. It was. I've read both of them, and it was more than that. The rule system, I mean, you're going to see similarities, obviously, but I think the rule system was definitely improved for Warhammer Fantasy Quest. There's a lot of stuff that you got to do in this game that you don't have to do and screw around with, in my opinion. It seemed like in Warhammer Fantasy. So it looks like when all right, let's do this. It wasn't just a straight rebranding. It was, hey, can we, it looks like they actually paid attention to trying to improve it. Because, I mean, this was basically in the heyday of Games Workshop games, right? I mean, there was the heyday of Games Workshop games when Warhammer Fantasy was coming out. So it seems like they actually really cared and improved the game system for Warhammer Fantasy. But even though, 82, even as avid fans of the original Hero Quest as my family is, I can't get my family to play Advanced Hero Quest. I've tried a couple of times. Would need different people. So Brett asks, just joined. Good morning. Is this from the original? Or is this? This is from the original. So when is this? Was this released? This got a date on the back here. This is copyright 1990. So this game was from 1990. So it also says, okay, so on the back, only the toughest men survive the dangers that wait around every corner. It is from such men the armies of the old world recruit their soldiers. After years of service, many of these soldiers and sellswords leave the army to seek fortune, daring to enter subterranean labyrinths in search of adventure, excitement, and rich rewards. These warriors, trained in the use of many weapons and clad in the finest armor money can buy, now fight on their own terms in search of treasure much greater than any found in a soldier's purse. In the mountains of the old world, the dwarves have held their own against the invading orcs and goblins for thousands of years. They have defended their halls and deep chambers for any who dare to challenge them. Dwarves are doughty fighters, sturdy in both mind and body. They are ideally suited to underground fighting, spending much of their time exploring the dark, forbidding caverns beneath their strongholds. The forest-dwelling elves are an ancient race, old enough to know the true nature of creatures that make their lairs below the ground. The elves strive to prevent them from burning the forest and slaughtering the elven race. Elves are accomplished warriors, proficient in both the sword and bow, able to stand against the most awesome monsters in the old world. But perhaps the most powerful force in the old world are its wizards, for they have complete command of arcane mysteries denied to normal men. They control the rainbow-colored magic flux that streams across the globe from the chaos wastes. They bend the magical hues to their will and summon unimaginable power to do their bidding. You want both Morcar and Zargon to be in the new one? I do want the Wizards of Morcar, Wizards of Zargon, how it's going to be branded, probably Wizards of Zargon. Expansion. I mean, there's so many HeroQuest boxes I've got over here. But that's the last one that is, I believe, yeah, Ogre Horde's been released. That's the last one of the originals that has not seen a re-release. Let's see. Throughout the old world, many thousands of creatures gather to worship their dark gods, making plans in vast dungeons hidden deep underground for the day where they will rise up and take over the world. Advanced HeroQuest can be used with any of the dozens of races inhabiting the already richly detailed Warhammer world. Many years have been spent creating a rich background and characters for the inhabitants of the old world, providing Advanced HeroQuest with an unparalleled source of heroic adventure and role-playing excitement. As an example of this background, Advanced HeroQuest contains full details on just one of the races of the old world, the Skaven. Yeah, we're fighting Skaven in this. Humanoid rats that have been warped by the chaos and swarm underneath the earth from a massive web of twisting tunnels. The Skaven appear from the shadows, battling constantly as they gnaw at the edges of civilization and strive to expand their underground empire. They are guided by the Grey Seers, foul magicians versed in black arts and sustained by Warpstone, who plot in secret conclaves, point font with little contrast that I have ever seen on the back of a board game box. This is going to use tiles over here instead of the classic HeroQuest board. Let's open this. All right, so here's what is inside. See, here is the rule book. So you can see this is a dramatic increase in complexity of rules from the original game. I mean, the original game's rule book is half this size physically, so it's a quarter page or a half page actually. And this is much more dense with rules. Like, look at this. Look at this. Of course, we got stats for all these monsters, campaigns. This book is like 63 pages long. I mean, they went to work creating something advanced. I mean, this game does live up to its advanced moniker here. This is Advanced HeroQuest. Yeah, this is definitely Advanced HeroQuest. We got... Hey, where are the miniatures? Oh, I might have removed the miniatures for painting. Oh, I bet they're in the living room. Like, I was trying to go through and paint things, so the miniatures are not in here. So the miniatures were supposed to be Skaven. Yeah, I bet they are in the living room. I'm not gonna go get them. We'll take like this. I think this is gonna be a multi-day exploration of this game anyway. So I believe my Skaven and the heroes and stuff were getting set up to be primed to get into the painting thing, into the painting, whatever. But okay, so this one is definitely tile based, which I don't necessarily think is bad. Has anybody in the chat actually played this? Has anybody actually played? This is a tile based game. So we're talking about like how much space does a game of HeroQuest take up? Well, you don't really know what's going on with a game of HeroQuest because these are Advanced HeroQuest, because we're going to be using tiles here. I do like the classic HeroQuest board. because it's so flexible. I mean, because like people talk about why is HeroQuest the best game? Well, what's so great about HeroQuest? Well, you've got the board, and then you can do so much with it, because you use different rooms and block off corridors and things like this. This one, you are using corridor tiles, or tiles of all different kinds. What goes on? Like, how are you supposed to stick those on? I don't know how I'm going. It might end up. I like the board, but it might end up being tiles. Okay, so here we also have so I guess that closes off that corridor, and then maybe that way this room can be next to it or something. You're looking for some talisman or something in the game. We also have, so if you're trying to create like a 4-way, you can do that with this tile right here. Not bad. Or there's an elbow right there. Just a turn. So that's how you're constructing your dungeons in Advanced HeroQuest. Yeah, looking for some type of parts to a medallion or something as part of the main quest. So that's what this is. Oh, that's pretty cool. Looks like, so this one does not come with furniture. It came with miniatures, but did not come with any furniture. So I noticed we've got a couple of tiles like that. Looks like the throne. Some type of map thing to find. The rotating room. Beware, many guardians do not rush into grabbing the amulet. The warlord's lair. Find first runic key to open the way to the shattered amulet. Let's see. Oh, my secondary camera seems very compressed. Are we having that problem again? I have not gotten into the ceiling. It looks good on my side, but then again, I'm not streaming here. So I couldn't tell. I have not gotten into the ceiling to try to see what's going on with some of my some of the cables up there. It's hot up there, and I haven't been able to do that yet this summer. I know occasionally some people are telling me that. Let me see. Oh, extra camera settings right over here. Let me see if I can downgrade it slightly so the stream, it might look better on stream. Let's see. William Moore. Hello, William. William says, I bought this when it came out and I still have it. I would say it's more accurately described as easy Warhammer Fantasy roleplay rather than Advanced HeroQuest. Really? You would say that it is more accurately described as easy Warhammer Fantasy roleplay rather than Advanced HeroQuest. Easy is doing a lot of work here. Each dungeon is a mixture of random levels, usually the first two, which could be of any size. The third and final level was mapped for the Game Master. See, as I was reading, I kind of thought the opposite. I kind of thought that, man, this is... that they simplified it for Warhammer Fantasy, and I think to its benefit. I thought to its benefit. Warhammer Fantasy, Fantasy Quest here. The tiles are great and allow every adventure to be unique. Yeah. So one thing I'm wondering, if you use a tile-based system, like how many tiles do you really need? Like we've looked at things like the 5-room dungeon in this game. Or on the show, like if you're going to sit down for less than 3 hours, when you're actually going to be in the dungeon for maybe 2 or 2.5, how many rooms do you actually have to explore? Do you need 100 rooms? Like, and then so so even if you are using tiles, maybe you don't have to have 100 rooms going off in a bunch of different directions. In every kind of direction on the board. you know, you can probably have a fantastic adventure having a rather limited number of rooms. So anyway, we got lots of tiles like this to build out your dungeon. I did buy this secondhand. Okay. So did I? Oh. I got you. So William, William is talking about. Oh, it does look better now. Okay, we'll see if that holds out. Thank you for letting me know. I still am going to adjust some of the actual physical cables and stuff like that for my streaming environment. I just haven't been able to get into my hot attic. I don't want to like die up there right now in the summer. But if this helps, let me know and in the future, and I can make some adjustments. Let's see. So right. So actually, yes. Okay, so now I get it, because you were talking about I meant Warhammer Fantasy Role Playing, the actual role-playing game, which was the original paper-based RPG. I'm not sure when that came out. Now that you're actually probably much more correct on. So where's my keyboard? When did the original Warhammer that'd be interesting to study that relate fantasy role-playing? The actual role-playing game came out. I don't want 4th edition. Like, I need maybe Wikipedia will let me know. Wikipedia says that the first edition, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing was published in 1986 and later maintained by Hogshead Publishing. A second edition was developed by Green Ronin Publishing. I didn't know Green Ronin did that. A second edition developed by Green Ronin Publishing was published in 2004 by Black Industries. Fantasy Flight published a third edition under license in November of 2009. I didn't know Fantasy Flight did Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing. This edition used a new system retaining a few mechanics of the original. A fourth edition rooted in the first and second editions was released under license by Cubicle 7 in 2018. So, right, we've looked at the Cubicle 7 material. Okay, so that means that, yes, that's probably what happened. So Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing came out in 86. So I can definitely see what you're saying. This is an easy Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing than rather than an advanced HeroQuest. I had Warhammer Quest in my mind. So now I completely get what you're saying. If you had been playing Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing, then this is probably simpler. Man, it makes me actually wonder what the original Warhammer Fantasy was like. Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing was like. Because yes, there is a hell of a lot more in this game than there is in HeroQuest. Whereas if you look at this as a pared down role-playing game, or a role-playing game in a tabletop gaming box, that is probably a better way to look at it. I got you. So yeah, and I want to look at that. That's one of the things that I specifically want to study. Like I said, why this is going to be a multi-day, a multi-episode approach to taking lots of notes on this particular style of gaming, like adventure gaming in a box. So yes, and what are the procedures that are used for dynamically laying out a dungeon? Because we have looked at some very complicated ways to do dynamic or to do random dungeons for role-playing games, and I don't think they work. I mean, there was like gigantic. We had like a 400-page book or something on like randomizing minutia about this, and I really like Warhammer Quest uses dynamically laid out dungeons. So random kind of dungeons, and I think we need this. Hey, good morning, PH. Good to have you here. Oh, it's 1987. Okay, so yeah, well, it could be 87, but anyway, so yes, very interesting. This was out here. Games Workshop was bored of it by the 1990s. So they sent it off. Yeah, there was a lot of support for Warhammer Fantasy Quest. I remember having White Dwarf at the time and all of that, but I just never got into it. I think it's because we were playing so much HeroQuest. Oh, Fantasy Flight. Oh, Michael Connor says that Fantasy Flight did a 40K role-playing game as well. Huh. And I know very, very little about 40K. Okay, I'm sad I don't have the miniatures over here to show you. But basically, lots of cardboard tiles. I don't know, some kind of explosion right there. I may end up using some of these tiles for prototyping. Prototyping Faded Edge. There we go. Maybe this would be one to do in the coffee shop one day. Be a lot of scanning. Let's see. Okay, but what else? Like I got. It is disappointing when you're coming from HeroQuest. This one doesn't have all the furniture and stuff. So basically, it's a bunch of cardboard tiles, the rule book, and then the miniatures, the Skaven miniatures. So there are tiles here. So this is Undead Champion, Chaos Sorcerer. I think you're going to use these for turns in order to pick out turns or something. Clan Eshin, Chaos Lord. We're using D12s here. We're using D12s. So 2 D12s come with the game. I got smaller tiles here. Actually, these may all be like wound tiles. So that, the HeroQuest idea of the skull marker being a wound. But it looks like we got numbers on them here. And then also some other like tokens. Like that says escape. That says trap, ambush. I think you're going to be drawing out something random here. Fate. Now you do have Zargon. Why don't they call him Zargon? But you've got you can play it solo, but you also have a game master who occasionally draws like things. We got wandering monster, fate. So I got these tokens right here. And that's what's basically in HeroQuest, aside from miniatures. We got Skaven miniatures in here. I'll see if I can find them for the next stream on this subject. So that part was a little bit depressing, coming from HeroQuest, because HeroQuest has all the furniture and all the nice stuff. And then you end up this. So yeah, William says the tokens are special monsters in lieu of miniatures, and William says these are tokens for the game master. Yeah, I've read this rule book, but like I said, nobody's ever played. So basically, what Advanced HeroQuest is about is this giant rule book here. Let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at the back. Mapping. So when you're talking about what William was talking about, this being like a more simplistic role-playing game rather than a more advanced HeroQuest, they're expecting you to do mapping in HeroQuest. They're expecting you to do mapping in HeroQuest. So on the back here, we've got the mapping, right? Right. Yeah. Okay, William says you also have rules for the HeroQuest furniture. Advanced HeroQuest is much better if you play with all the HeroQuest stuff. You can even add the original board. So that is in here. Yes. Yeah. Like, look, using the HeroQuest board. So it is tied to it, using the HeroQuest board. So maybe, well, that was something we could do. Maybe we could somehow add some advanced HeroQuest items into using the original HeroQuest board. I hadn't thought about that, because I would like to play. Yeah, I think it's telling me that my whole connection is weak at the moment. I really think that has to do with the wires that are running through my house. I'm not sure, but we will see. But anyway, so there is the exploring the maze here. Maybe we could play this using the original HeroQuest board. I hadn't thought about that, because I would like to try it. I'd like to try all three of these. I played Shadows over Brimstone, or Shadows of Brimstone, whichever one it is. I should just look this up. I always call its name wrong. Shadows of Brimstone. I've corrected myself so many times. Somebody in the chat will already know. Shadows of Brimstone. I don't know why I say Shadows over, but it's just Shadows of. Shadows over is cooler. I think kind of continues over this tradition. It would be fun to play to see how things are going. But yeah, using the HeroQuest board right here. Randomly generating the HeroQuest board for advanced HeroQuest. Because it says you can play any of the HeroQuest adventures using the advanced HeroQuest rules. Replace the HeroQuest rules for movement. Well, that's on playing their adventures. You can play any of the advanced HeroQuest adventures using the advanced HeroQuest rules. Replace the HeroQuest rules for movement, combat, and magic with the advanced HeroQuest rules. Use the HeroQuest rules for placing monsters, searching, treasure cards, and so on. When a hero is directed to lose a body point, he must lose 1 wound or 1 fate instead. All monsters that are encountered are assumed to be of the standard type, not champions or warlords, unless otherwise stated below. And so it goes through and tells you new stats for Sir Ragnar, Ulog, Grak, Balor, and the Witch Lord. But then here is your character sheet. Looking at your character sheet, maybe you can see it. This might be about as far as we go with this one. Like, you see a lot of the Warhammer elements into this, because we've got, like, what are our skills for our hero? And I like the character sheet. It's nice, and this is half a page here. Weapon skill, bow skill, strength, and toughness. Starting and current. So weapon skill, bow skill, strength, and toughness. Classic Warhammer. Speed, bravery, intelligence, fate, and wounds. So we have added a few things. Okay, speed, we got start and current again. Bravery, I don't remember what bravery is. We do have an intelligence stat, we have a fate stat, and we have wounds. So fate, intelligence, and bravery are being added. Name, race, lots of place to draw your hero here. Hand-to-hand combat and ranged combat. So the target weapon skill. So this is going to give you, what is your target's weapon skill? This is going to give you rolling to hit. So you've got your weapon skill. Based on your weapon skill, what do you roll to hit? Ranged combat. Here is like the range in squares and what you have to hit, based on, I guess, your bow skill. And then you've got different weapons, and the weapons have range, damage dice, fumble. We've got fumble and critical here. And then we've got armor with possible, I guess this is possible penalties to bow skill and toughness and speed, and then other equipment. I really want to be able to do a small character sheet like this. I mean, especially for dungeon adventuring. For dungeon adventuring, I'd like to even do just smaller. For dungeon adventuring game, I think you need like postcard or index card size. This is plenty, I believe, for a whole role-playing game. It's very combat focused. And actually, a lot of people are surprised that I like that, Like, man, here's a game about going in and hacking apart monsters. Isn't some in this case, it's sort of like the opposite of something like old school role playing, because with old school role playing, people are always talking about, hey, fighting is the last resort. Don't try to fight. You're gonna get killed if you fight. But in a game like this, fighting is what is expected. And when I'm thinking about the people that I play with, especially like my nephews, hey, let's sit down and play an old school role playing game. Now, don't fight these orcs. Try to do everything possible to avoid fighting these orcs. Don't just walk in and fight the orcs. They want to play a game where you walk in and fight the orcs, like we've been playing HeroQuest and Dragon Strike, and they like both of those. So, a game that's focused on, hey, what are we doing in this monster, in this dungeon, killing things? I mean, to me, that makes sense for a style of play. It also allows you to show everything on the board that you need. So, all right. So, actually, we may just have to get into the rules in the next, in another stream here. Let's see. Let's just take a look at what is inside the table of contents, though. We talk about introduction. I mean, look at the density of this text. I mean, look at the density of this text in a board game. Exploration turns, exploration, combat, magic, the game master, hazards, treasure, reference sheets, traps. Between expeditions, there's a lot of stuff that happens between expeditions. Fate points and wounds, treasure, cost of living, random events, spending gold, henchmen, embark on the next trip. Like, I remember that there was even stuff about like creating a will for your character. And so this does make more sense, like what William was talking about. If they already had basically a whole Warhammer fantasy role-playing system, that means that whole idea wasn't generated whole cloth. Like, the whole idea of here was not generated whole cloth. They were like, okay, can we put that in a box? That makes a lot of sense of what they were doing. Advanced solo HeroQuest. Preparing for play, exploration turns, combat turns, Tabaro's Bane. I want to take a look at that. So solo advanced HeroQuest. The quest for the shattered amulet. So we got a quest in here and then blank sheets on the back. So, all right, that's what we're going to be getting into. We'll be getting into it kind of deep here. I'm going to be taking lots of notes. Like, what do we like about this? What do we do? What do we not like about this? It sure would be nice to come up with some way for us to be able to play a little bit of that. And I wonder, because now I wonder if I could modify my HeroQuest, my online HeroQuest, to play advanced HeroQuest on this board, on that same board. Now I'm curious about that, because I want to play. I'd like to play all three of these. It's been a long time since I played Shadows of Brimstone. I played Shadows of Brimstone and enjoyed it. So, all right. So this is going to be a multi-day expedition into Advanced HeroQuest. So hopefully that was at least some point gave you some idea about what is in the box. I just noticed on the edge of this box, man, there are other miniatures, and there's a whole bunch of 10-point font more. William says, fight more monsters equals sell more miniatures. Possibly so. I also, in a game like this, I want people to know what, their options are, what they can do, and just be able to execute and take their turn. So the plan here is we're going to take a deep dive into all three of those games over the next probably several morning grinds. Take lots of notes and see what we'd like to move forward into some type of game design of our own. All right. Well, all right. I've got lots to do. Look out on the channel here, because I'm going to be releasing the trailer for the Cultists. Oh, hey, Bacon. I was just wondering where you were. Catch up. I was wondering where James was. So this is a great one. So I will see everybody in the Discord server, and then also probably on the YouTube channel today, if you would like to like and comment on videos that are coming out. I've got work to do to release these. So I will see you guys. We'll be continuing this deep dive on Sunday. So Sunday at 9:30 Central Time. We'll come back. We'll take a look at more Advanced HeroQuest. Later, everybody.